All right, let's give her another round of applause.
Woo! Back up.
All right, our next speaker is Nikki. Nikki has been in full recovery from her eating disorder for 3 full years. She currently works at a psychological rehabilitation center in Chicago, where she leads a variety of educational groups and therapy-like classes with a broad range of clients with mental illnesses. In recovery, Nikki has learned that her purpose in life is to give back to others and to help them recover from their dark places. In her limited free time, she enjoys discovering new music, dancing for fun, and biking to new familiar places. And she's thrilled to share her story with us today.
Nikki! Woo!
All right, wonderful. Thank you, T. My all-time low for my eating disorder was being taken from one hospital to another by emergency services, since the ER unit my mom and I originally checked into did not have an eating disorder care unit, and my eating disorder was running rampant. Despite many signs that my health was in danger, my eating disorder voice was still loud as ever. It was a part of me, I suppose, but even then I knew that it was not me, as it was coming from somewhere else. The voice was telling me, what? This is some kind of joke. These people, they are the crazy ones who are trying to sabotage you. You are still not sick enough. Stay by me. You know I am your only friend. That was one of my loudest eating disorder voice moments, but by far the most memorable and scary, and it was very, very horrific. I wanted to believe these medical professionals who were telling me I was so very sick, so badly, yet that voice was still so grappling. It was horrifying. Lies started getting blurred with the truth, and it really had me questioning what is real. The eating disorder is a con artist, deceiving, manipulative, and a liar. A concept that I wish I could have told that more younger, lost version of myself, that is practical advice that I wish I could have realized, as that when you water something, for example, a thought, an idea, a relationship, similar to how you may water a plant or a tree, it will grow. So I later discerned that the more I fed into the eating disorder thought blob, I actually referred to my eating disorder as EdEb, aka the eating disorder ego blob, and I actually found that separation to be very powerful. And the more it grew, and I hence kept feeding into it time after time for so many years, and it continued to grow, so much so that it even began to overpower me. You think you are in control of it and can stop at any moment, when really, it's in control of you. In simpler terms, specific types of thought patterns are contagious and will create a cycle. And if you keep giving such energy and food and water it needs to survive, it is no reason to go away. I oftentimes think of a snowball going downhill uncontrollably. It just keeps growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger. Similar to how those thoughts you have been watering literally can and will take on a personality of their own. Now, unfortunately, I did not realize that at the time I was being rushed in an ER, and so therefore my second medical hospitalization of 3, I was still so lost and insecure. Part of me really wanted to recover, and although people at the Texas Children's Hospital were providing me with valuable resources, I still fully was not ready to let my eating disorder go. The desire to overcome an eating disorder or any type of transformational change has to come from within. So instead of always being compliant, I would find ways to still listen to my eating disorder. And therefore, the same thing essentially happened upon discharge that was happening when I first admitted to needing help. I felt like I was always in recovery and relapsing at the same time. I was just kind of going through the motions of recovery as opposed to being fully receptive and adaptive to such, which is a bit like attempting to push water uphill. Not only frustrating, but also exhausting. Now, somewhere along the lines, I thought, after reaching low after low, setback after setback, continuously feeling hatred towards myself, I had the desire to get my life back. Well, if negativity is contagious, I realized by then that EdEb would only get bigger if I let it, wouldn't the same be true for positivity? And I found out that this is true. This idea is similar to the watering plant analogy, yet it wasn't until later along my recovery journey that I came up with such a clear ideology. When I filled my emptiness with things like prayer, meditation, positive self-talk, coping skills for self-discovery, and more, I was much more likely to have increased positive thinking. I struggled with an eating disorder for approximately 9 years, and during my best breakthrough moments, I was resilient in my thinking, and all of a sudden, positive memories from therapy, treatment, and school, and online classes years before were permeating my thoughts miraculously. What are some other things that I watered, you may ask, instead of my eating disorder? Relationships with my family and friends, which included rekindling the broken relationship with my younger sister, mother, and father, who are now some of my favorite people on earth. My knowledge base, including learning, my treatment team at those points of my life, and my spirituality or relationship with a higher power. The eating disorder is a purely insane way of thinking, and I was fully able to only overpower such by replacing it and watering other things that eventually became stronger. Now, my eating disorder voice still comes around occasionally when I may be really stressed and feel things spiraling out of control. Well, wouldn't it be nice to not eat anything for the rest of the day, or you didn't work out enough today. But now, I do not give in to it like I once did. Therefore, the voice is a lot less softer, and therefore easier to simply label as a dysfunctional thought. Hence, the blog comes up with much less sick ideas, and usually it really doesn't have many ideas at all. Coming out on the other side of recovery, going through a transcendent transformation, I feel like I have a newfound superpower. Life is so much simpler when you eat when you are hungry, and stop when you are moderately full, and dance and exercise for joy instead of a punishment like I once did. I now realize that I was given an eating disorder, thankfully, something I could recover from, so I could overcome such and then share my wisdom and inspirational story with others. Although I would not wish it on my worst enemy, it has allowed me to find an intrinsic strength that I never knew existed. I now have a job in social work where I help clients with severe mental disorders get rehabilitated back into society. Sometimes I see a younger, much more disoriented version of myself in them, and nothing warms my heart more than seeing their own personal breakthroughs. Remember, if you water something, anything really, it will grow. What will you all water today?